There's a I would use the word fierceness to describe something I experienced from you, and I would say it's different. I'd say you're very like responsive to like what any given student needs, and it seems very sort of spontaneous and emergent. But there's often I feel this quality of sort of fierceness and very captive listening, really asking people a lot of questions, a lot of follow-up questions, and taking notes and things. But also, I feel like you balance that listening and receptivity with direction and like pushing, sometimes pushing things when they need pushing. And I'm really curious about that. Like, yeah, and so just for my own work as a healer, as a teacher, or whatever, like because in part because I don't see it modeled well very often. I know a lot of people who are incredibly receptive, amazing listeners, and they can't really lead and push. And then I know like more than enough of the opposite,
Yeah.
but I can think of like a couple of people who I have found who like really balance those well, and I'm curious what you've done over the years
Mm.
to balance them and to know when to go in and when to do which, and yeah, when to push somebody.
That's a good question because I don't always know when to push somebody. I don't. And there have been times I've pushed people in a class and I felt like, oh, and I'll check in with them afterwards, like, you okay? But I think the key is something that actually we mentioned earlier, which is that before you critique, you have to love what you see. If you can love what you see, it covers a multitude of sins. It really does. And if you love what you see, then if I'm going to push or encourage somebody or challenge them, then I think it's a different thing than if I love who I am and therefore I challenge you. And so I've known teachers who just love to push because it makes them look powerful and in charge. And I've had students, they'll look me straight in the face and they'll just be like, you can really challenge me. I want you to be hard on me. And I'm like, the irony in that instruction, you want me to be hard on you and you want me to be what your version of hard is, which is actually a quite simple thing for you to handle. And so it is not, as Tara Brach, who's a wonderful Buddhist teacher, she says, it's not survival of the fittest, it's survival of the nurtured. And so for people who want to be pushed, actually, the challenge is for them to receive a nurturing intention. And for the people who can receive a nurturing intention, sometimes the challenge is to receive a direct intention. But both of those begin in the same place with I fundamentally love what I'm seeing. Therefore, then, I hope you know that what I'm saying is said not out of my benefit. I'm not trying to be right. I'm trying to be effective. And I think that that's key. Otherwise, I might push because I want to, because won't I look cool? Won't I look clever? Won't I look strong? Won't I look like, And so the very nature then of leadership, I think, really, I mean it. I've said before, I guess I'm the leader in the class, but not by virtue of my importance. I'm the leader in the class, but by virtue of my risk. Class doesn't go well, it's my life. You know, it's my risk I'm taking. So the leader assumes the risk, not the power. And that's a non-dominant approach.